I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Marie Waxel. Details on how the forecast could impact your weekend plans in just a moment. But first, we want to walk you through the bombshell announcement made by the Morgan County District Attorney this morning. Just after 10 a.m., Scott Anderson revealed a grand jury returned an indictment against former Decatur police officer Mac Bailey Marquette. He turned himself in last night on a murder charge and has been released on a $30,000 bond. Anderson says the job to prosecute the former officer now falls to him and his office.
I am, by virtue of my office and the laws of the state of Alabama, the highest ranking law enforcement official in this county. So again, it's not easy for me to be in a position of prosecuting an officer, but in this circumstance, it's the right thing to do. I recently heard someone say, doing the right thing isn't always easy, but it must always be done. And I agree with that.
DA Anderson also addressed concerns about his close relationship with the police department. He said he decided not to recuse himself from the case and reiterated his promise to not shy away from tough cases. WAAY 31 has been bringing you coverage on any and all developments in Decatur since this deadly shooting.
We have team coverage on what the Perkins family is calling the first step toward justice. WAAY 31's Jillian Kay is standing by. She spent the day reaching out to city council members, the Decatur Police Department, and even stopped by Marquette's house. But we're going to begin with WAAY 31's Maddie McCaffrey.
Maddie, you spoke with the Perkins family just moments after learning one of the former officers involved has been charged.
Yeah, that's right, Marie and Dan, I did. And the family tells me that they've been waiting for this news for more than 3 months. They say now that Marquette is facing a murder charge, it's just a baby step on their journey to getting justice. Still, Steve's widow, Catrella, says she is angry the former officer's bond was just $30,000.
Well, I honestly, I felt pretty good. Like I said, when I did hear about he was booked and arrested on murder. But to hear that the bond is only $30,000, I feel the same as I did prior. So I still feel the same.
Is this justice?
No, not at all. No, not even close.
What's your message to the community who has rallied behind you and your family right now?
It's still the same. I definitely appreciate all the support, prayers. Like I said, in 2024, it's time to, keep going until we get the justice that Steve deserves.
And tonight, Catrella's older daughter has a basketball game where many friends, family, and community members will be cheering her on. They tell me they'll be decked out in Justice for Steve Perkins gear. Still ahead on WAAY 31 News at 6, I spoke with Catrella's mother, and she shared with me how Steve Perkins' youngest daughter is handling everything. Reporting live in Decatur with coverage you can count on, Maddie McCaffrey, WAAY 31 News.
Thanks, Maddie. Our team coverage continues now with WAAY 31's Jillian Kay.
Jillian joins us live from the Morgan County Courthouse as well after speaking with City Council member Billy Jackson. Jillian, what did he have to tell you?
Well, Marie and Dan, Councilmember Billy Jackson tells me that justice will never fully be served in this case, but he says this is a small step toward making sure what happened to Steve never happens to anyone else. He hopes this will make the city rethink its policies and procedures so something like this never happens again.
I think that we need to look at our policies and procedures. We need to look at even, like I said, our leadership, and I've said that before, our leadership in the police department and in other areas of our city.
Jackson says a standard for carrying out policies and procedures needs to be made in Decatur. And he also tells me that he hopes this starts the healing process right here in Decatur. And when I asked him what that looks like, he says it begins with regaining trust in our legal system. I'm live in Decatur with coverage you can count on. Jillian Kay, WAAY 31 News.
We also learned the other 3 officers involved in Perkins' death will not face state charges at this time.
However, DA Anderson did say there is no statute of limitations on a murder charge. And that means the case could go before a grand jury again in the future and end with charges against Christopher McAdam, Vance Summers, or Joey Williams.
As for this particular grand jury, Anderson says the 8 men and 10 women who made up the panel came from different backgrounds. It's something attorney Michael Timberlake says was important to the community.
There was a diverse group of people from different sorts of backgrounds that viewed the evidence and then made a reasonable determination based upon that evidence. And that means that leads us to believe that there wasn't any kind of bias or prejudice involved in that process.
So what can we expect next? Well, Marquette will go in front of a judge for an arraignment hearing.
And during that hearing, he'll be read his formal charge and enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. Right now, so far, there's no date set for that. Marquette, Summers, McAdam, and Williams will also appear in front of the Decatur Personnel Board at the end of this month for their appeal hearings. 3 were fired and 1 suspended in early December.